What's up guys, and welcome to the video user guide for the WorkSharp Ken Onion Edition Elite Sharpening System. This is going to be a full in-depth guide that's going to take you through the original version of the Ken Onion Mark II that has the cassette attached, and then we're going to get into the blade grinding attachment later on in this video. Lucky for you, we've broken this video up into chapters, so if you're looking for something in particular, feel free to skip ahead. Otherwise, settle in and let's go through this awesome sharpener together. Let's dive in. To get started, we're going to start right up top with the motor speed controls. Starting with the continuous run, moving down to the speed control buttons, plus and minus, and at the bottom in amber is the run stop button. Over on the cassette, at the top, you have an angle adjustment knob. On the front side, you have the front edge guide and the leather line guides. And on the back side here, you have the scissor guide for your standard household scissors at 65 degrees. If you continue to rotate the cassette forward and around, you can remove the cassette completely from the sharpening handle. This is where you would attach the blade grinding attachment, which can be purchased as a complete sharpening system called the Ken Onion Elite, or sold separately as the blade grinding attachment. Let's put the cassette back on and jump up to the angle adjustment knob. Each click represents half a degree with full adjustments from 15 to 30 degrees. Angles are measured per side of the knife. So a 20 degree per side would be a 40 degree inclusive angle. Moving down to the speed control adjustment, the top button is the continuous run mode for use when grinding tools or with the blade grinding attachment. When you hold the power switch and press this button, it will lock the motor on. By using the plus and minus buttons, you can increase or decrease the speed of the abrasive belt. We recommend using speed 1 through 3 for sharpening knives and speeds up to 7 for grinding tools. The belts included with the Ken Onion Mark II are an extra coarse, medium, fine, and extra fine. These are engineered abrasives and should last a long time. Belt discoloration is not an indicator of wear. These belts will keep going longer than you think, so keep using them as long as they are still removing material. Belt changes are simple. Pull up on the belt change lever and it will automatically lock into place. Simply pull the belt over the pulley and around the front badge. As you put on the new belt, start by placing the bottom corner first, then the next corner, and then slide it over the top. Release the belt change lever by pressing the small red button on the back of the cassette. We found this is made even simpler when the tool is on its back and the edge guide is in the closed position. Now that you know the machine, top to bottom, let's sharpen our knife. When you first start out sharpening, it's important to understand that different knives require different sharpening speeds. There's a reference chart that came in the user guide with your sharpener. These are our recommendations to get you started on most common knives. To get started sharpening, we're going to start with the kitchen knife, more specifically this Asian style kitchen knife. I'm going to use the reference chart in the user guide to figure out which combination I need. Starting with a 16 degree angle, which I have set here, we're going to use speed 3, and we're going to start with the X22 belt, all set up and ready to go. To get started sharpening, place the knife in the angle guide with the heel touching the belt. Lean the knife over against the angle guide. Now power the machine on and start pulling the knife through at 1 inch per second. Pull steadily and stop with the tip of the knife still in contact with the belt. Continue making passes until you form a burr along the entire edge of the knife. Now switch to the left side of the machine and make the same number of passes you made on the right. Now that we've established a burr along the entire edge of the knife, we want to go ahead and hone that edge. To do that, install the X4 belt. Once the belt's installed, we're still going to follow the place power pull procedure, only this time we're going to alternate strokes side to side. Next up, let's sharpen a pocket knife. For a pocket knife, our reference chart has an angle set at 25 degrees, speed set at 3, and we're going to use the X65, X22, and X4 belts. To get started sharpening, place the knife in the guide with the heel of the knife in contact with the abrasive. Lay the knife against the angle guide, power the machine on, and pull through at 1 inch per second. Be sure to stop with the tip of the knife in contact with the belt. Make 6 to 10 passes until you form a burr. Once a burr is established on that side of the knife, move over to the opposite side and make those same 6 to 10 passes, being sure to use place, power, pull, and stop with the tip of the knife in contact with the abrasive. Now that we've established a burr on both sides of the knife, we want to go ahead and start to refine the edge. So we're going to install the X22 belt. Once this belt's installed, we're going to follow the same procedure of place, power, pull, only now we're going to alternate sides as we make our passes. Next, switch to the X4 belt and repeat the same process to refine the edge to your liking. When it comes to sharpening scissors, we recommend grabbing a Sharpie and coloring along the entire bevel. This will help you see when the entire edge has been sharpened. Depending on the condition of your scissors, you'll either want to use the X22 belt or the 6000 grit micro mesh. For touch-ups, the 6000 grit micro mesh. If they've got some damage, you'll probably want to use the X22. To get started sharpening scissors, set the speed at 3, move the sharpener to the edge of the table to ensure that you can reach the entire edge of the scissors. Place the scissors in the scissor guide, power the machine on, pull through at 1 inch per second, and be sure to stop with the scissors still in contact with the belt. Make 2 to 3 passes on each side and check for sharpness. You'll notice as you make passes that the marker has been removed at the cutting edge of your scissors. To set your sharpener up for grinding, you'll want to remove the angle guide, close the front edge guide, and rotate the cassette forward. You'll want to use the extra coarse P120 grit belt and take the machine to whatever tool you want to grind. Make passes until you reach the desired level of sharpness on your tool. Now that we've gone over how to use the cassette on your sharpener, let's switch over to the blade grinding attachment. The first thing we need to do is show you how to get it installed. Let's dive in. Start by pressing the lock release lever and rotate the sharpening cassette forward. It'll pop off fairly easily. Remove the belt support flange with the Tighten label from the side of the blade grinding attachment and rotate it counterclockwise on the motor shaft. This will extend the motor shaft to fit the larger belts for the blade grinding attachment. Point the angle adjustment knob on the front of the blade grinding attachment to the sky and slide it over the motor shaft around the keyed chassis and rotate the blade grinding attachment towards you to lock it into place. Now that it's installed, let's review some of the features. On the side, you'll see a knob labeled Tracking. This is for tracking the belt left and right on the pulley system. You'll also see the angle degree guide and the belt tensioner lever. Up top is an adjustable convex pulley with 3 positions. The closer the pulley is together, the less slack you'll have in the belt. Typically, kitchen knives are in the first position, everyday carry and hunt knives are in the second position, and larger outdoor knives and axes are in the third position with the most belt flex. Then, up here in the front, you have a 0-degree reference plate and another adjustable reference plate in the back with a 90-degree platen for grinding. The blade grinding attachment uses its own set of 1x18 flexible belts. To install the belt, push the tensioner lever towards the tracking knob and rotate it down into the locked position. Loop the belt around the lower belt guard first. Then bring the belt up and over the pulleys. Push the tensioner lever up to release. It will snap back towards you into place, tightening the belt. Now that we've got your belt installed, let's go ahead and sharpen a knife. Your user guide includes a chart with our recommendations for speed, angle, and belt progression depending on the knife you want to sharpen. For this Asian-style kitchen knife, we recommend a speed of 3, an angle of 16 degrees, and using the X22 and X4 belts. Let's place our pulley into the top position for this knife. Select your angle by rotating the angle adjustment knob until you've reached your desired angle. The angle indicated is in relation to the 0-degree reference plate. As long as you keep your knife flat, you will be sharpening at the selected angle. With the X22 belt installed, power up the machine, set the motor to continuous run, level 3. Depending on what knife you may be sharpening, you can adjust the speed by pressing the plus or minus buttons. Start sharpening by placing the spine of the blade onto the reference plate. While keeping the blade flat, move up to the belt surface between the 2 top pulleys, placing the heel of the blade edge onto the abrasive. Note, the 90-degree reference plate on the back can be raised up and used as an alternate, closer location to the belt. This may be easier, especially if you're just learning to sharpen on this system. Move the blade flat across the abrasive belt and stop with the tip of the knife in the middle of the belt, then pull the blade away. Follow the curve of the knife as you move across the belt. Be sure to keep the cutting edge perpendicular to the tracking of the belt for the most consistent results. Use light pressure. The weight of the knife is enough. Continue sharpening and making passes on the same side until a burr is raised along the entire edge. Repeat the same number of strokes on the opposite side of the blade. Progress through the finer grits until your desired sharpness is achieved. Remember, when changing belts, check to be sure that the proper tension and belt tracking is set correctly. We're not quite done yet. The blade grinding attachment has a few more tricks up its sleeve. Let's dive into those. The 90-degree plate on the back can be used for multiple purposes, such as chamfering edges, flattening a knife spine, or creating a flat edge grind. Use light pressure and let the abrasive do the work for you. The slack belt section of the abrasive belt can be used for radiusing edges and shaping knife handles. Remember to use light pressure and let the abrasive do the work for you. That's going to do it for this user guide on the Ken Onion Elite Sharpening System. If you've got questions, leave them in the comments down below. Remember, all WorkSharp products are backed by a 3-year warranty and the best customer service in the business. Thanks for watching, guys.